Right, somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago on stream, what was your most enjoyable tactic of all time? What's the greatest tactic of all time? And this is it. It's this one right here, a 5-2-3 that I did during my COVID FM20 stream with Fenerbahce. Welcome to Hell series. It was probably the most enjoyable live stream series that I've made. We had the tactic going. We were kind of exploiting small fullbacks with the use of a target forward. We have the big boy Marucci. So I thought, let's go and reminisce a little bit about, and I had a couple of watching of the videos and then realised, ooh, this may work in FM23. So I decided to start with, as you can see, Inter Milan, the team that I generally choose when I'm doing these sort of like replications because they've got a good, well-balanced squad. And I also thought about Lukaku and the role that he could potentially play on this left-hand side of the front three. So, welcome to the GOAT. It has been a tremendous tactic. I've played through half the season, and as you can see, we're absolutely flying. 17 wins, 17 games, 15 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. But as you can see, our last 2 results in Serie A have been those results. So we started with 15 straight wins. We also won the Supercoppa against Milan. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here it is, the GOAT. Tactic is now available for you legendary patrons. There's now 54 Patreons at the start of May on the channel. Thank you very much for your support. If you would like the tactic download that you can instantly put into your game, check out the link in the description. However, everyone else, don't worry. I will go through all the team instructions, player instructions for this tactic. All right, guys, let's go. So there's a lot to talk about. Now, I have made one little tweak. The only tweak that I've made from this game, from this tactic back in 2020 is Lukaku as a target forward on attack. In the original version, I had him as a target forward on support because it was Marucci, who is the big Kosovan striker currently at Mallorca. He was something like 6'5", 6'6", something like that. Not physically awesome, but quite slow. His pace was maybe about 11 or 12. So I was wanting him to drop off a little bit, play with his back to goal, and then hopefully get in at the back stick. This tactic basically came around trying to get the best out of Marucci because he was quite well attributed in the game, and having 3 strikers at the time. And I always, you know me, I always want to do something fancy. So this was the first real opportunity to get a libero in. It was also the first opportunity to get my 3 at the back in. You know that I love a 3 at the back. So the idea is that it's quick. There is a lot of team instructions that I've kind of realised. I try not to do as many as what I used to do, but there is a lot of crosses. Some may have reasons for it. We'll dive into them as we go. Okay, so sweeper keeper on support. It is obviously Onana. Take more risks. Basically, that'll mean that he'll play a little bit longer, sort of like medium to long range passes, which is fine because I do want him to find these front 3 on occasions a little bit more. Back 3, I've got a central defender. Now, this could be easily changed to a ball-playing defender on defend or even on stopper. I think with my Fenerbahce save, I just went for someone who was big, physical and pacey. And then at the same time, because we have a libero on support, no player instructions, no further player instructions for him. Not needed to actually have 3 ball players. And hopefully a lot of the ball is going to come through that libero. On the left-hand side, we had someone, I think it was George Cuesta, is it? Maybe Cuenta. He's a left back. He was at Barcelona B at the time. We got him and developed him into a really good, wasn't physically amazing, but decent on the ball, good pace. So we got ball playing defender on defend. No play instructions. However, I would suggest my favourite PI on FM at the moment is with a ball playing defender on defend, especially in a back 3 when they've got a little bit more room and easier to maybe beat the initial press. Dribble more. If it's against the low block and they're decent on the ball, they'll break those lines. They'll help kind of bait a press a little bit. Hopefully bring out maybe a couple of attackers who are sat a little bit deep in a deeper block. On the right-hand side, we've gone aggressive. I do like to kind of balance it off a little bit, but for this one, we've gone with 2 wing-backs on attack. And I don't even think there's any additional player instructions. No, just bog standard wingers on attack. Wing-backs on attack, keeping their width, high. Obviously, complete wing-backs kind of roam around the pitch a little bit. I think we're trying to be quite rigid with this. Wing-backs, do your job, get to the byline, cross the ball into these front three. We've got a box-to-box midfielder, no player instructions, and a deep line playmaker on support, no player instructions. If you're not an absolutely top team, I always find the ball-playing defender, the deep line playmaker on defend is a nice little balance, but he does drop in really deep, so just be careful of that. In particular, if you're playing a ball-playing defender on defend with that dribble more instruction. And then moving into the front three, this is where we had so much fun. Pressing forward, I generally picked somebody who obviously had decent work rate, had a little bit of pace, because you'd often get, especially with the front three, you'd have these two players kind of dragging players out of position. In particular, target forward, he would drop off. Advanced forward was obviously pulling on centre halves, and then maybe looking to exploit maybe the gap between the fullback and the centre half, or even with the fullback plus forward and a counter attack, having the opportunity to clip one over. So pace, good work rate. I think in the early days we actually had Cenk Tosun out on that right hand side, but then we went down the route of sort of like a more pacey striker. We actually had Haaland playing. We swapped the roles over a little bit, so we had the pressing forward on the left hand side towards the end of the save, because we had Haaland, a young Haaland, out on that left hand side as a pressing forward. Into the middle of one. Now I think this one's quite. You could rotate this. You could even be clever and put a false 9 in. All I'm trying to do is have the defenders occupied as much as possible. And then when building up, we literally have like a 3-2-5 with the two wing backs into these areas here and plenty of crosses in the box. But you're more than welcome to change the role of it. Deep line forward on support to maybe drag out another defender. Leave a gap maybe for then Lukaku and Martinez to go into. Poacher I tried at certain points as well. But I've just gone for an advanced forward, just so he would maybe work the channels, and maybe, if he goes into the channel, Martinez can come in and vice versa. Like Edin Dzeko is not perfect at it because of his age profile, but he has started with 16 goals, 11 in 15 in the league. And then the left-hand side, we've gone for Lukaku, obviously. I wanted to really do this because of Lukaku. With his pace and his power, we've changed it onto an attack because he'll work the channels a little bit. But you could do this, as I said, put it on support. If you have that classic, maybe a Lorenzo Luca. What's that guy? Biello? I can't remember his name. You'll know. I had him in my Everton save for a little bit. Maybe someone who's just not as pacey as Lukaku, or maybe a better who's at Udinese or someone like that. Target forward, absolutely superb on support, but I've just gone for it on attack. So that's the only change I've actually made to this. Attacking mentality, we've been risky. It was back in the day when I used to love everything was attacking. We've got that base with 3 at the back as well, so if there's definitely transitions that we're going to face, we're going to probably handle them better because we've got another player in defence. In possession, shorter passing, slightly higher tempo, so we're not over rushing it. Overlapping left and right, because I really want us to, yes, get the ball into these front 3, but can they just wait for the Gosens and Dumfries just to get round on the overlap as much as possible? It just helps us. Probably the thought behind it would be that if we're holding up the play deliberately for overlap, we're just keeping hold of the possession, allowing us to get maybe more bodies in the box. If it's on this left-hand side, it allows Gosens to get round another man in attack, and then that might even free up Dumfries to get round that right-hand side, maybe another one at the back stick. It does happen on occasions. Might even allow Barella as well to get involved in and around the edge of the area. Time wasting never. Fairly wide width. Hit crosses early. We want that ball in the box as much as possible. Play for set pieces. I think most of the time all my 3 strikers were over 6 foot. We've obviously had big defenders. I'm sure one of my midfielders was like 6'2", 6'3", the box-to-box midfielders. So obviously we were very good in the air, so we need to make the most of that. And then be more expressive in transition, standard, FM, back in the day, counter press and counter. We have got 3 players up there as well. We'd often want to win the ball back high. Counter-attacking, we've got those 3. We've got a sweeper keeper on support. We've got those 3 players up front. Clip balls over the top when we can. Take short kicks, so that allows him to probably play up to the flanks a little bit. Maybe play to a playmaker, play out from the back. Even clip a ball up to maybe the target forward who's maybe dropping off a little bit. Out of possession, we've gone for a high press, high line. Not super, but trigger press much more often. So it is a very, very intense press. I would maybe drop that down, even drop that down to as much as standard. I've gone for prevent short distribution because I want the goal. The idea with that was I wanted the goalkeeper to kick it long, and sometimes we would have a 3v1 if, a lot of teams are playing 4-3-3s and the two wide players will be occupied by our wing backs. So the striker is sometimes isolated. So from that, I was just trying to encourage them to kick along and hopefully we get the ball down. Hopefully at times maybe drop it down on the chest and when we can play. So that's the idea with that. Get stuck in. Back in the day, FM23, in the early days, that was just a personal preference. I used to always have it on. I want my teams to get stuck in. Okay, that is the tactic, as I said. Link down in the description. Takes you to the Patreon. You can download it for free. I've gone through everything. Let's go and see how it looks in the match engine. So as you can see, it's absolute goals galore. 2s, 2, 0, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 3, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, 3, 3, 2. Start of the season, we went away to Atalanta and we scored 6. We beat Atalanta 6-1. 22 shots. They had an XG of a 0.34, 7 shots, 2 on target, 53% possession. Not a massive amount in terms of possession. You don't dominate the ball because you're going a little bit long at times. Attacking mentality was a little bit of risk in it, but we're just hoping that you get those front three absolutely firing, and I've managed to do that. How many goals has Lukaku got for us? Yeah, Lukaku's got 11 in 11. He's had a couple of injuries, which you kind of get with him, unfortunately. Okay, so here we are. We're building out from the back. Short pass into midfield, or into the right wing back. Brozovic is the deep line playmaker, dropping really deep to get the ball, and then we're off. And then look at Lukaku. Target forward on attack, but he's dropping into a really nice little half space. As then time to pick it up, we've pretty much got a 3v3 or a 5v5 here, with the two wing backs occupying their two full backs. And then we've got those 3 central strikers against their 3 defenders. Lukaku creates a little bit of space off Rafael Toloi. Into Lautaro, who's dropped off again. And they're in good run from Lautaro. Pace, remember, we want that pressing forward to be direct. Goosson's getting in, really attacking, in that pretty much in the 6-yard box for an easy tap-in. And then Edin Dzeko hasn't looked. This is an advanced forward. This is the thing with that. You might just want your advanced forward just to have a little bit more pace because you are asking him to work the channels a little bit. He can't do it. He's just doing a job for us at the moment. Maybe even a poacher would have probably been better for him. But as I said, try maybe a deep line forward, dropping off a little bit more. See what havoc that creates. That deep line forward on support will no doubt, or an F9, will no doubt suck in one of those central defenders to leave maybe a little bit more of a gap for the target forward on attack, and the pressing forward maybe to go on maybe a diagonal run. Okay, the next one's stopping a counter-attack. I think a counter-attack's going to come here, but we have, look, Skriniar's coming back. He went up forward for the long throw, but we win it back and we're off. And now what we have, I think with the target forward on support, you wouldn't get this as much, but because he's a target forward on attack, he's looking to work the channels a little bit, exploiting. The idea that we want with that target forward is to exploit smaller fullbacks. So if you imagine we're playing against a 3 here or a 5, but imagine playing against like a Trent Alexander-Arnold playing at right back and having someone like Lukaku up and against him, and that's what we were doing. We're looking at crossing the ball deep, floating crosses in, and didn't forget to mention that actually on the team instructions, floating crosses in for someone like Lukaku to get on the end of. But with that target forward on attack, he does look to get in behind a little bit more and score goals like that. And this one is a perfect example. So look, we're playing risky balls. That's a risky ball, that, from our deep line playmaker. But we're in a decent... Look, apart from him, we're in a really good... For any balls coming out, we're in a really good position to keep the attack going. Dumfries gets it, and he just floats a little cross look to the back stick, and Lukaku's eyes are absolutely lighting up. Bosh. That is the goal. That is the goal that you want to create. All right, so there is a couple of goals. 2 of the goals were from corners as well. Edin Dzeko's first goal and Lukaku's last goal for his hat-trick were from corners. Build that physical team. I am undecided. I need to Twitch save because I did get sacked on my last Twitch save. I need a new save, and I want to implement this 5-2-3 and have big, physical, with a little bit of ballers. You know, we've got a libero in here. It's not all about punting it forward to the big guys, but definitely something that I want to use. So playing for set pieces, getting the right sort of profile of player, really, really key for this tactic. I would love it if you plug this tactic in and let me know, Patreons, how it gets on. Everyone else, if you do copy the tactic across, jump in the Discord, link down in the description, and let me know. Let me know down, or maybe send me a message on Twitter or whatever. Let me know how it works for you. That has been the GOAT. As I said, it has done incredibly well for my interside. Normally, when I do a tactic test, we're normally in and around it, but to have that sort of record, I'm really happy with. No doubt we will go on and win the Serie A, hopefully with maybe even 100 points. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Smash a like on today's video. Let me know down in the comments what team's tactical replication you would like to see next on the channel. I'm at the end of kind of the plan of videos that I want to do, so I'm open for ideas. Let me know down in the comments. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. See you later.